It's not worth winning if you can't win it!
Welcome back, everybody, to the Cake Eaters podcast. We have episode 9 this week, which is titled Head Games, and we finally get the moment of truth, the moment every young kid goes through, Heath. The moment where you realize you got to fire your mom.
Been there, done that. You know, I'm just kidding. I could never fire Mama D. She would be absolutely devastated at the thought. But she also wouldn't get in over her head coaching in the first place.
No. Mama D she's better than that. She's got a good head on her shoulders. I will say though, Alex took this firing like it didn't even fucking face her.
Yeah, she
zero reaction.
All in stride.
Yeah.
Like there was no head game getting played there. And I love like Evan comes in and he's pacing. Like he is so nervous. He's biting the fingernails, you know.
He's getting a pep talk from Nick. Did you catch Nick's pep talk?
Oh, I catch it?
He calls Alex the momster. Like monster, but with mom instead, the momster.
Absolutely. Not only does he call her the momster, because our boy Nick, this is his cup of tea. He gets it from his mom's, hyper supportive, always going to lift you up and bring you and help you rise to the moment. And so he lets Evan know right off the bat, your mom is off the rails, dude. She's going to make me cry at states. You don't want to hear me cry. It sounds like I'm laughing. It's very confusing. Bless you, Nick, for that wonderful line. And then he does like an impersonation of it where he starts like laugh crying. He's like, do you hear that? It's terrible.
That's the most ridiculous thing.
I kind of get it though, because I don't know if you know this. I tend to laugh when I'm uncomfortable. And so I'll be like, yeah, I don't know. And I do it sometimes at inopportune times. Like if you're on the phone with a really mean customer and you kind of are uncomfortable and laugh, that doesn't always go over well. So I get it, Nick.
It does not.
That's a tough situation.
Yeah. It's always weird when you're going through an emotion, but it presents itself as another emotion. People tend to get confused. They misread your intentions. I get it.
What is Nick doing here? Why is he laughing about this? Oh no, he is insanely crying. So we get the pep talk, and it's a hell of a pep talk from Nick over to Evan. And the head games are starting already. Here we go. Evan jumps in, and he does not hold back when he breaks the news to Alex. He's just like, hey, listen, we got to let you go.
Honestly, fantastic firing maneuver. He just ripped the Band-Aid off. No, you just cut right to the point. There's no need to waste anybody's time. Let's get this over with.
And then validates the firing with the reason why. And I think that's why Alex was able to take the firing so well, because Evan delivered the messaging in a way that she was able to digest it. She was mean to their puppy dog, Logan.
I love that he calls Logan a puppy dog.
Of course, Logan's the puppy dog. He is sitting at home with a sad, divorced dad all day making depressed pancakes. Like that's all he has right now. And then Alex is mean to him at the last game. That was kind of fucked up. Like poor Logan. Of course they wanted to fire her.
Yeah, deservedly so. I mean, they shouldn't even have hired her in the first place. She knows nothing about hockey.
Exactly.
9 episodes in, don't know a lick about hockey.
Absolutely out of necessity. The thing that I didn't get about this scene, though, is that Evan's like, listen, we're going to fire you as the coach, but I want you to be there as my mom. And Alex is like, no, it's okay. You guys need to go fly. You're on your own. Good luck. Godspeed. And why wouldn't she go? Like, why wouldn't you go watch the games? You kind of were there the whole way.
She just got fired, Heath.
So she has maybe there's some hurt feelings.
Yeah. I mean, she handled it the firing so emotionless that I would assume she's crying a river inside, you know?
So
And then,
on the inside, she is like ugly crying in the shower. Right
yes,
now.
and then Evan has the gall to, throw a participation trophy her way and be like, you should still come as my mom though. Like, hey, I realize I just dumped you, but I'm getting married this weekend. Do you want to come and watch me get married? That's exactly what happened.
Not the best coach, but number one mom.
At I don't know. Her mom skills leave a lot to be desired. Not
That's a Brandon parenting corner.
Yes.
The ups and downs of Alex's parenting skills.
Yes. It's all the parenting corner with Brandon. It's been brought to my attention many a times that people are not super fans of people who with no kids giving parenting advice. But I'm gonna keep doing it. The podcast that spinoff podcast is gonna keep going strong. I'm not gonna let the haters win.
You can't let the haters win. That's absolutely factual. And listen, that's on those parents, because if they don't have open minds to listen to other people's opinions to see if they can gather, information to make themselves better, that's on them.
Exactly. And like, you got to be able to take constructive criticism, you got to be able to take that. And like the famous saying goes, those who can't do teach. And I can't do being a parent, but I can teach you,
That is absolutely beautiful. Parents, listen up. Brandon has a lot more advice headed your way.
Let me be the Phil Jackson to your Michael Jordan of parenting.
Wow, the Zen master. You are about to be the Zen master of parenting.
Absolutely.
I love it. All right, spin-off podcast headed your way. Keep your eyes and ears out for that. But to get back to where we are, we have a cutscene after Alex handles the firing better than anyone could have ever imagined, considering all the time and effort she's put into it. And we have a delightful bus scene. We've got the kids on there. They're fired up.
One thing about that. So Bombay comes into the bus hot, and he goes, I assume everybody knows Alex is not coming. I'm going to be your coach at States. Do you think Evan talked to him beforehand about firing Alex? Do you think Bombay was aware that or do you think it was like sprung on him?
I feel like instinctually he felt the writing was on the wall when him and the kids worked together to usurp Alex's power by doing the spatula play at the end of that game.
Okay. Yeah.
So Bombay just used those coaching instincts to know, hey, something's wrong. Something's not feeling right. I know her time's coming to an end.
Yeah, and I'm not a very good assistant coach maneuver either. I would have loved to seen to like explore that dynamic a little more, where like Evan is like going to Bombay and being like, we got to get rid of Alex. And then Bombay has to wrestle with the emotional dilemma of firing the love of his life and taking over for her, Because she takes the firing so well, and then he just hops in the coach seat, like, boom! I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for you to fire her. That's what it felt like. He was like, I was waiting for the day that this happened.
So I'm thinking in between the cutscene. Alex takes it really great. So Evan's like, hey, let's give Bombay a quick call. And they put him on speakerphone in the room.
Okay.
They're sitting with Bombay on speakerphone, Evan and Alex. And they're like, hey, Bombay, it's Evan and Alex. We got to let you know, we fired Alex. She was a real fucking piece of work last episode. You were there. You saw it. She was mean to Logan. Like, what in the actual fuck was she doing? But so she's stepping aside. You're going to take us there, even though you haven't shown the most responsibility in the last 10 years. We are going to have you chaperone 10, 12-year-old kids alone in a hotel room and coach them.
Yep. And so that's my other question. So they get on a bus and they take what looks like a hefty bus ride, because they pan out after everybody's on the bus and they start leaving. They pan out and they show wide open Minnesota highway with like no city in the view. Where is States being held? Would it not be in the Twin Cities? Would you not hold it in Minneapolis or St. Paul?
I'm not sure because, well, we can find that out really quick. We can do some internet sleuthing because the end scene is like them showing the Minnesota ice.
The Minnesota Igloo. It's not a real thing. I looked into that. It's not a real thing. That's fake news.
Okay. I mean, I figured it would be somewhere in the Twin Cities, but you're right. It made it seem like they
live in the Twin Cities.
They're road tripping outside of the Twin Cities somewhere to go to states.
Yes. And then there's another scene. I think, right? Isn't there?
Yes. The travel schedule made no sense.
There was another scene like when you talk about when they go to the igloo, the Minnesota Igloo, the rink that States is at, from the hotel. It seems like it's another long ass fucking bus ride. And at that point, like, why would the hotel not be right next to, the rink that you're all playing at, or across the street from it, Well, if you're going to go on a massive bus ride to States, why would you stay at a hotel? And everybody was staying at that hotel. So it was state sanctioned hotel. All the teams were there. Why is it not closer to the arena?
So let me throw a theoretical scenario at you that might help us align this travel schedule. So let's say because it's the youth hockey, it might not be held in the Twin Cities because they're not going to book out like something like the Target Center in order to, and it might not be the Target Center anymore, but the last time I was in Minneapolis, it was the Target Center where the T-Wolves play.
Yeah, there's the Target Center. There's also where I don't know if it's called this anymore, but there's also the XL Energy Center, which is in St. Paul, which is where the hockey team plays. The Wild play. Yeah.
So there could be a chance that maybe it's not in the Twin Cities. It's at a smaller school that still has hockey, maybe like Mankato. That's the only Minnesota city I can think of because one of my friends went to school there. Yeah. But like maybe it's at a smaller place in Mankato, and so
you can always go to Duluth, right on the lake. Some nice picturesque views.
Exactly. And with some of those smaller towns, they would book up with that many teams really quickly. And so you're going to have some hotels that might be further out, or you might have to stay like the next small town over.
Well, the hotel I assumed was specifically for every single team at States because there was a whole bunch of things.
There's a gala. There was everything.
I don't know if I'd call it a gala. It was
dance.
It's a
party.
Yeah, it's a 12-year-old. There was arcade games. It's not a fucking gala.
That's true. That's my kind of gala. A whole bunch of arcade games. That'd be sick.
Yeah, and then they had the gift shop there too, where you could buy all of your Minnesota Youth State Championship gear that you want. Which Nick bought all of it.
Oh, I have some of that coming. Well, maybe before we get too far into it, Nick has some great lines on the bus. Like Nick crushes the bus scene.
The bus scene is great.
Absolutely crushes it because Nick steals the show. We've been asking for more Nick for a long time, and he really starred in this episode. I think that was the saving grace of this episode. So he's out there, and he's like, oh, my gosh, Bombay's in charge. Kids get to run crazy. We're going to go around and push all the elevator buttons, maybe wear the shower caps from the room. I don't know. The world is our oyster. Let's get wild.
What does he say? He says, this is the first night I've ever spent away from my two moms. I'm going to live it up.
Yeah. He's living it up. Could you imagine the freeing feeling of being able to wear the shower cap as soon as you walk into the room? That had to have been a beautiful moment for that young man.
Yep.
Although, to be fair, I feel like I'm not the only one that did this, but like as a kid, as soon as you got into a hotel, you jumped on the beds. And if you had two queen beds, you were doing some nice jumps back and forth between those beds. Like that's flips. Number one. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Not like a full flip, but like you do the front flip where you land on your butt on the other bed.
Like a somersault of sorts.
Yeah. Like a somersault flip.
Yeah.
And so Bombay gives him the speech after Nick gives just an absolutely wonderful little back and forth. And then, I mean, I'm a little nervous about Bombay being in charge, but I'm sure he'll be fine. He's kind of been stepping it up a little bit. And then they end the bus scene. Well, not they ending the bus scene, but they drive off trying to chant, "Don't bothers."
Yeah.
And it doesn't go very well. It does not ring off the tongue.
No, it's too many syllables. Don't it's not built for chance.
No, it just solidifying worst team name ever.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Worst team name ever. But so then they show do they cut anywhere else, or is it still the bus scene where they're driving now, right?
They're driving, and then they zoom in. They zoom in on our girls, because this is where we start to get
girls night.
Girls. Like they get the chant going. They're very excited.
They're like spraying each other with like 12-year-old perfumes.
Oh, I have. We will get to that when it comes, because there's some cutscenes. We will get to that. But I did actually pause this scene, and I brought Kelly, who is my partner. I brought her in because I had some questions about what Maya was packing, because I needed some clarification on what she was packing and what was going to make this great girls' weekend. Because Maya comes out.
What was she packing?
So she comes out and she's like, "Listen,
I'm terrified for this.
First of all, before we even start, beauty comes from the inside, and everyone should know that. It's not on the outside; it's on the inside. You can be beautiful, but don't be a terrible person." So, beautiful message by Maya.
If that were the case, then everybody would be able to see your insides, Heath.
Which is just foul to think about. But anyways. Maya has the goods. She has a lip gloss collection, which
They talk about lip gloss extensively.
I'd be curious to see what she has there, what kind of flavors. Obviously, some kind of bubble gum is going to be in there, maybe a strawberry, but a nice lip gloss collection.
Strawberry is the tried and true, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And then she also has a face roller, which face rollers are used on your face to help with skin wrinkles. Yeah. Okay, so that's that. And then they also had highlighter, which I didn't know what highlighter was, but it's a pressed powder that you put like in your eyes and your nose and your cheeks, or anything that kind of needs to get like brought up a little bit, a little bit higher highlighted than the rest.
You didn't know what highlighter was?
I don't know anything about makeup. I only know.
You didn't know what face roller is either, right?
Yeah, I was like, well, what are they doing a face roller for?
What would you not use a face roller for, Heath?
I don't know. I feel like I should get one now.
Well, yeah, everybody should have one. I don't know. I guess I forget that a lot of people, a lot of males don't know the very basics of makeup and makeup etiquette.
No,
I spent the vast majority of my childhood essentially raising my younger sister.
Okay.
So I know a lot about the makeup game.
Oh, so you helped do some tutorials. What a nice big brother. Listen, Brandon,
I mean, it wasn't
mean, but you're nice.
Oh, it definitely was mean. I was not and it wasn't done out of niceness. It was done out of it was a sad boy Logan situation. We were in dire straits. I was the last line of defense. It was not out of the kindness of my heart.
Wow. Just at least you're staying on brand.
Yeah.
So we have girls' night. They're getting super fired up, and then they go up to the boys, and we see Evan turn around, make eyes with Sophie. They do a nice little wave, and Evan's like, "All right, guys, it's time to spill the tea." They gather around.
Yep.
Let's
lock it down.
Absolutely. Time to ask. Logan has already given him congrats, like he's accomplished something. He hasn't even asked her yet. I feel like that jumped the gun a little bit.
And then Sam drops one of my favorite lines. He says it's time to DTR.
Define the root beer.
No, drink the root beer.
Drink the root beer. Drink the root beer. If you
define the relationship, drink the root beer. You don't define the root beer.
I mean, if I were to define the root beer, it'd probably be mug root beer. I feel like that's what I drank the most as a kiddo, with my ice cream, with my root beer floats.
Yeah, I'm an IBC guy. IBC all the way.
Oh, wow. Okay. Not all of us were fancy. We had to get the mug root beer on sale, Brandon.
Oh. See, I was never a big fan of mug. It was either IBC or you go with I don't know how regional like store brand soda names are, but you had like what was it? It was like Dr. K or something was the.
Oh, we had like Mountain Lightning and Dr. Thunder if you wanted to get some like Walmart brand.
Yeah, that's like those, but there was like a specific now I'm blanking on it, but there was like King Supers is like the regional grocery store in Denver and Colorado. They had a specific brand, and it was something K. I want to say it was like Dr. K, something K, but then they had, their own little, whatever brand. So it was either IBC root beer if you're going to splurge, or if you're like out at a restaurant. Okay. But if you're going grocery store, it was whatever the fuck that name was.
Just the regular store brand.
Yeah, which I prefer mug. Mug.
That's great.
Mug. I didn't care for the weird looking bulldog on the can of mug.
You're right. That's how you knew you were a badass drinking badass root beer. Look how tough that dog is.
I feel like that dog. There's something in his eyes. I feel like he was hiding something. He wasn't being entirely truthful about this root beer.
There's the false eyes of the mug root beer dog.
Yeah, they were dead eyes, like a doll's eyes.
So Sam is telling Evan to define the relationship.
I had to stop myself from doing the Jaws monologue there.
The listeners were not here to listen to you recite Jaws, Brandon.
I think
it probably would be nice.
I think that's the other spin-off podcast I get going is where it's just me and I do a dramatic reenactment of each and every Jaws movie just by reading the script.
No voices. You play every character. You just read it straight through.
Well, I would do voices for each character. I would make it it would be a production, but it would be just me, one-man show.
One-man show. There's some great Audible readers out there.
Yeah. I'm going to be the next big one.
I love it.
Climbing the charts.
Okay, so Sam is telling Evan to define the relationship. Logan hypes up Evan. He gives him, you have some nice soulful eyes, a raspy voice just above 5 feet. You're the total package.
He describes him like he's a fucking blues singer, which was very weird.
Like a little blues brother.
Yeah,
all of a sudden,
like raspy voice, soulful eyes. Like, what the fuck are we looking at the same person, Logan?
Logan sees the world through a very romantic lens. I feel he's a very soft soul, and that's why he had that description. That is
a good point, because there's an exchange him and Nick have later on where he gets very romantic and very I can see that. Yeah, he's got
with that hair. He has just with that hair and now his newfound hockey skills. Logan is probably just absolutely the ladies' man of middle school.
Yeah, and I get this is the happiest he's ever been in his life.
Yeah, absolutely. Like
he's
sad dad doesn't matter anymore. He's at States.
I don't think sad dad even made the trip. He's probably just crying at home by himself. And Logan's like, finally, just me and the boys.
Yeah. Listen, Dad, I've got 10 frozen pizzas in the freezers. We got 2 cases of beer, plenty of hot water, go fetal, beer, shower, cry. It's fine. You'll be fine for 4 days.
Love the idea of Logan stocking up beer for his dad. He's like, he's going to need this. I got to.
Absolutely. Maybe throw in a bottle of Jack just to be safe.
He has fake ID going out to the local Twin City liquor stores.
It's about to be a real sad weekend. We better grab some whiskey. And then this is another, once again, Nick really was a bright light in this episode because he comes in, and I don't know how to describe this move because he has a special move that he's willing to share with Evan when he asks out Sophie. And it's like, he does a wave of his arms and then does a robot hit with the hand, and it swings over Evan's shoulder, and it was smooth. It could possibly put the fake yawn and stretch it could put it out of business. You don't think so?
No.
You think that's just too tried and true?
Yeah. And that's quick and easy to pull off. The fake yawn and then you're over. Nick's move requires too much there's too much time before your arm goes over the shoulder. Because then because he puts one elbow on their closest shoulder to him, does a little move, and then hits it over the other side. And it's just, it's too much prep time, and I feel like it could easily go awry.
You have to have the right amount of cute lovability to pull that move off, and Evan doesn't have that.
Oh, no.
Evan would accidentally pull something awkward, maybe accidentally jab Sophie in the face with an elbow, getting carried away with that dance move. I wouldn't be surprised there. So I'm glad Evan decided to let Nick's move stay with Nick. That was probably a safe choice on his side.
Yes. And it struck me that Nick had not attempted that move in the wild yet. It has he's strictly been workshopping that with himself. I don't think he's tested it out yet. And I think you gotta test that out once before you start handing it out to people.
Nick is a little gun shy, and so he knows this is a move that's in beta testing. He wants to give someone the opportunity to get it out of beta testing because
you don't give it to Evan though.
On the wall.
You don't give it to Evan though. That's
his best friend. That's why. That's the mindset.
Well, you give it to Logan. He's got more best friend vibes with Logan anyway.
Well, that's true. Evan has never reciprocated the best friendship like he should.
Very one-sided for sure.
Poor Nick.
Yeah.
But and then he closed it up with, better add a fire emoji because that's hot.
Right.
and gets real carried away and screams it on the bus.
Yeah. Well, because classic middle school, love story. Sophie and Evan are not talking to each other about any of this. They're just texting back and forth.
Yep.
And so Nick is like, make sure you put a fire emoji on your text. Really let her know what's up.
Because that is hot. And then I kind of feel bad for Evan, poor Evan, and Sophie a little bit because Maya comes in hot and shuts Evan's text down. Yeah. Like, hey, what is this, prom? Asking her to prom? Yeah, right. This is a girls' weekend. No, not happening.
Yeah. Straight girls' weekend.
Sophie thought about it. She was like, hey, I wouldn't mind.
Oh, yeah. So Sophie, there's definitely mutual attraction between Sophie and Evan. They are, star-crossed lovers for sure. And but Maya was not having any of it. She's like, we're having a girls' weekend. We just rolled each other's faces. Okay, This is a girls' weekend.
Just had a little bit of a perfume fight while right after we're discussing this. So it's like Sophie sends him the text before that happened. Sorry, I jumped the gun a little bit. Sophie gets talked out of it, so she sends a 3 princess emoji, see you there, text back to Evan, which I don't know how anyone knows what that means, but Sam seems to understand that Evan just got hit with the friend zone.
Yes. Well, I mean, Sam appears to be the sage advice giver here because he's the one who talks about you need a DTR. Yeah. You got to define this relationship. You got to, as Nick says, you got to lock it down before she gets away. So
Sam maybe seems to have a little bit higher maturity level.
Sure.
So
and from was it last episode or the episode before? He talks about he had a girlfriend, but
that's right.
Yeah, so he's experienced.
Lost her because of the socks.
Yes, but I'm assuming he stopped wearing the socks. Maybe he got her back.
Maybe he doesn't need her anymore.
Yeah, I mean
he's a star hockey player.
Made it to states. Yeah, his options are endless right now.
Yeah, he's gonna be singing some Sound of Music at them. So long, farewell. See you later. Get out of there. But I love Nick's response to the emoji and Sam's comment. He's like, "Wait, how could you possibly think that that's a friend zone? Who does a princess fall in love with? A prince."
Doesn't he go on a Frozen thing? He's like, except for the Frozen girls, they are wildly independent.
They are very independent, which, you know what? Good for them. That's just Disney is trying to right the wrongs of all the damsel in distress movies that they made that just, frustrated people a lot. And so they needed a movie where those Frozen girls, they were very independent. I love the soundtrack for Frozen. Very, very
it's
underrated.
A great soundtrack. Yeah. Solid soundtrack. They have quite a few non-damsel in distress movies, though.
Well, now.
Well, even
Brave, Mulan.
Even back in the Mulan for sure. But you had Hercules was Meg. I think was the love interest's name, and she says like 3 or 4 times in the movie, "I'm not a damsel in distress," and she is very pivotal in Hercules, winning the day. And then Jasmine was no damsel in distress either. She had a fucking tiger as a pet.
Well, that's very true. Maybe the older ones in the 50s and 60s. So, okay, you checked me a little bit there. But
Cinderella, Snow White, yeah, those were,
but I love Nick trying to talk them out of it. He's still trying to provide a sliver of hope for his man Evan. Like she is saying she's a princess in need of a prince. And then that's when they go back and we have the three girls having a perfume fight.
Yeah.
In a bus.
Yeah. Now I don't know if those are perfumes exactly.
Okay.
It could have just been like scented mists, where it's not like actual perfume, but it's like because they looked like they were in like plastic bottles. It looked very diluted. It didn't look like we're getting like as strong of a scent as a perfume,
Okay, so we're thinking these could potentially not be perfume bottles because if it was, that would be a disaster in the bus. That would smell horribly.
They're definitely like scented sprays, but I would not. I'm assuming because they're in plastic fucking bottles and they're for 12-year-olds that they're not as strong as a perfume. B, they're like they probably cost like $5 a bottle. So the damage that you thought was happening to that bus is, I think, minimized because it's not. And they were spraying it in each other's eyes, and none of them were like crying or none of them phased. So I think it was just like scented sprays.
When I saw that, all I could think of is like if it was like an axe off, like 4 different axe sprays blowing up and just the damage that would do. And then just how mad Bombay would be and like the headache you would get from that. And he would just be stewing in the front of the bus for those who gotta drive with the goddamn windows down, stupid girls with their fucking perfume.
You know what I was really hoping for? And I would have loved it so much is if Bombay gets like right when they are on the bus, Bombay gives his speech and then he's like, hey guys, we're going to States. And he turns around. I would have loved it if the bus driver was MC Gainey, the limo driver from the first movie. Just like a small little, like he like high fives him or something, like a little cameo where it's just like boom. And then we go on. And then
that would have been fun.
Never address it again. Just a small little like MC Gainey cameo. I would have loved.
It's like a little wink to all the Big Ducks fans out there.
Yeah, and I don't know how many people. So I love that MC Gainey is the fucking limo driver in the first movie. It's one of my favorite things about that movie because why is a movie star as big as MC Gainey at that time? I mean, granted, he wasn't like a fucking movie star, but he was in fucking Con Air. He was a legit action movie actor, and he just plays a limo driver. That's a whole other rant for the first movie. But I love me some MC Gainey, and I was really hoping for him to be the bus driver. That's again, Disney. Let us write and cast this fucking show because I will get MC Gainey back in.
There are so many epic moments that were just missed out on.
Yeah. So many Easter eggs that they just dropped the ball on.
And would have been easy.
Yeah. I mean, how much is MC Gainey, charging for a 5-minute cameo, Like fucking whatever it is, it's worth it. Pay the guy the money.
Could have just hired him on Cameo, I'm sure.
Well, yeah,
website where you hire celebrities to like call your friend.
Yeah, but he's got to. You need him in the bus. It would be weird if they just like cut to a
FaceTimed him.
Cut to a makeshift cameo of MC Gainey, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm driving the bus. How's it going?"
Anyways,
okay, but so after the perfume spray, that's when we cut to because
we're rolling in.
What'd you say?
We're rolling up to States.
Oh, that's right. They get to the hotel. Bombay says, "I'll get everybody checked in." Everybody just leaves their bags not even at the front desk, right by the front door. Yeah.
They were loading them on the baggage carriers, so I'm assuming there may have been like a bellhop there helping take all the bags.
There was what looked like a bellhop there, but they legit just throw them down and then leave. Bombay leaves too. I mean, I would
never do that.
That's all your hockey gear.
Yeah.
There's so many thieves.
That was a very, very poor move to leave those unsupervised, but they They did have a nice entrance, though. The girls did. The boys just had an entrance, and everyone was like, "Oh, geez, Evan's obsessing over the Sophie text." But the girls have like the badass girls' weekend entrance with the hair flip, and
Nick has a good entrance because he's the first one in the door. He comes barging through, and he immediately smells the chlorine, and he knows there's an indoor pool.
That's what Bombay says. All right, team, breathe it in. It states, breathe it in. And Nick looks at him. He's like, smells like an indoor pool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, Nick.
Yeah, that's the second thing I do when I get to a hotel room after jumping on the bed is I throw the swim trunks on and we're going down to the indoor pool. And or if you're lucky enough and you're in a climate that allows it, outdoor pool. Do
you just go in hot with a cannonball at the hotel pool?
It depends. I assess the situation. If there's if nobody is at the pool and it's like just me and the crew that I go down with, then I'll absolutely rip in a cannonball right away. If it's a crowded pool and there's a lot of people in there, then no, you can't go in hot. Yeah.
Safety first. That makes sense. And Nick's not wrong because we all know the smell when you walk into a hotel and you're like, oh man, that indoor chlorine hotel pool, got to kill all the children's pee smell.
Yeah. I had the craziest fucking nightmare yesterday. I took like a 2-hour nap in the middle of the day and had the craziest dream about getting chemical burns at a pool from the chlorine. The dream gets real weird and gets weirder and crazier than that, and I'm still mentally processing that through my it's definitely something I'm going to talk about in therapy. But
wow, Brandon, we're here for you, man.
It was one of the worst dreams I've ever had in my life. It for sure killed my vibe for the rest of the day.
Wow, that's tough to hear. In Workaholics did an episode like that where Adam and Blake were trying to get Anders out of swim practice, so they dumped a bunch of chemicals, and then the swim team got in and they were losing their hair and shit from it.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with the chemicals in those pools. You could fuck yourself up real quick.
Yeah. But this entrance too is super loaded and moves very quickly. Did you notice that? Because as soon as the girls' weekend hair flip happens, Maya's like, cool, I'm going to go get some swag. She's gone, comes back.
2 seconds. And she comes back with a boy so I got to talk about the boy. His name, first of all, is Xander.
Yep.
Great fucking name.
Love it.
Xander. And then so I was trying to figure out, and I wonder if so I was trying to figure this out. He comes in. She's like, "Hey, this is Xander. We're in love. We're gonna get married. It's gonna be fantastic."
He's so cute.
Xander. I mean, he's a good looking fella. He's tall. He's probably pushing 5'8", 5'9" at this point, and he's only 12 years old. Hopefully, he's not like me and tops out at that. Because I was a tall middle school kid. I hit 5'11" when I was in 5th grade, and then nothing after that. That was the end. Dunzo.
I got lucky. I did the same thing, but when I got really big, I got up over 6 foot.
Okay. I just missed it. Just missed the cut. Which is, it's really not that big of a deal per se, except for the Tinder profile takes a hit when you say you're 5'11" instead of 6 feet. Ooh, that's a huge minus. But Xander fucking cracks me up, A, because his name's Xander, and then B, he's wearing what I assume is his team's quarter zip. Because you see all the other teams, all the Ducks people, they have the zip or the quarter zip on with the logo.
Yeah.
There's a couple other teams, but Xander's shirt doesn't have a logo. It has a stylized word mark on it, and the word mark says Viper Freeze.
Whoa, that is a team name right there.
I really hope that's a team name. I really hope that's one of the team's names is Viper Freeze.
We'll get into it later.
It's either a team name or he is already sponsored by a sick ass energy drink.
Viper Freeze does sound like a hockey energy drink that you would have. You're about to play hockey tomorrow morning? Come grab your Viper Freeze, full of vitamin B and poison.
So I really hope that gets explored more because that's the that's all you get from this episode. He doesn't mention what team he's on or anything like that. But I really hope that's the name of his team is Viper Freeze.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
And then, like, poor Lauren and Sophie, you know, Lauren and Sophie are the two friends that need the third friend in order for them to, like, successfully hang out. You know what I mean?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so you could feel that as soon as Maya took off, they were just like, oh, crap. And then Sophie has buyer's remorse. Like, what the hell? They had that nice handshake.
They had the sweet handshake. You know, they sealing the friendship with a handshake. But yeah, Maya bailing on Girls' Weekend to go hang out with Xander is a real blow for the two of them. Their bond is not strong enough to keep a girls' weekend going, you know.
No, and
you could have with those two, you could have like a girls' lunch, you know, or a brunch. There's no way that bond is lasting a weekend though.
Absolutely not. Maya was the glue that was going to keep them together. But so Sophie's bummed about blowing off Evan now because she's like, well, I did this for the girls. Like, what the heck? I would have gone with him if she was going to do this. But
by the way, dick move from Maya, you know.
Absolutely. Let's call a spade a spade. It was a dick move, but it was also a very typical middle school move where
for sure.
Selfishly you set up the girls' weekend, then selfishly you bail on the girls' weekend because you found a very cute boy.
Yeah, it's a dick move, but granted, if I show up at States and Xander's looking my way, you best believe I'm bailing too. You know, I'm bailing on girls' weekend.
Especially if he's sponsored by Viper
if he's got a mini fridge full of Viper Freeze up in his room, dude, go time.
I'm in. You know, normally I'm going to be loyal to Monster if I'm going to drink an energy drink, but I'd cheat on it with some Viper Freeze. I actually don't drink energy drinks; they're really bad for you. But if I do, it's going to be a Monster.
See, I haven't had a fucking energy drink in years. But when I did drink them, it was Red Bull all the way, sugar-free Red Bull. Mm.
And then the next thing we move to after we see Maya bail on the girls is we have Coach T laying down the law with his team, which I loved. Of course, Coach T fans on the podcast right here. Big Coach T fans.
Yep.
And he's sitting there letting him know.
So later on in Coach T's featured prominently in this episode.
Yeah.
And they tease they tease good guy Coach T like halfway through the episode, and I was here for it. I wanted it. I need good guy Coach T. But so he's talking at this point in time. He's talking to the Ducks. He's giving them the lay down, and he's like, "Hey, we're here to fucking win. You know, if you can't win big, you know, why are we here?" So he's like, "You get 1 hour at the party gala, whatever you want to call it, tonight. You get 1 hour. Bed checks at 8 p.m.
7 8.
We're waking up at 5:30. We're not waking up at 5:30. We're meeting in the lobby at 5:30, and we're going for a run."
Yep.
And
that's what winners do.
Yes,
they prepare.
Exactly. He said, my favorite line is he looks at him and he goes, "I don't need you mingling with the riffraff."
I wrote that down too. Classic Coach T line. That's why we love him.
Yeah.
Because he's so right.
Yeah.
They're there to win, not mingle with the riffraff. That's a don't bothers move. They're just there for fun. They're not there for business to win. But then
Stephanie's daughter,
Ruby,
after the riffraff line, Ruby, she like turns to whoever's next to her. I assume Trevor. They don't really show it though, but I assume she turns and she goes, or after he says 1 hour at the party, she turns and she goes, "Everybody's gonna think we're lame." And Coach T goes, "No, they're gonna think you're defending champions. That's what they're gonna think."
Exactly. You know what I wrote down for that? I said that was a real Clark move by Ruby, worrying about what the riffraff are going to think about her. That wasn't a Stephanie move. That was a Clark move.
Yeah. Right after this, you get Bombay and Coach T. They have a little exchange where Bombay is Coach T's trying to like badmouth the Don't Bother us. He's like, you know, you guys don't even bother unpacking. You guys won't be here long. And then Coach T Bombay just like flips it around on him and is like, "Yeah, you're right. We definitely won't be."
Yeah, we might not be. Yeah. And I love it when Bombay is like, "Yeah, you know, honestly, it was a surprise to all of us to be here. It really was." And Coach T's like, "What?
Yeah, what are you talking about?" He's like, "You can't get in my head, Bombay." And then Bombay goes, "You're right, unless I'm already there."
Yeah. Bombay did play a little Jedi mind trick on Coach T. I was kind of surprised that he did that right there.
Yeah. Well, so I remember because they do the little previews, right? At the end of the previous episodes, they give you like little like 15 or like 1 minute like sneak peek to the next episode, and they show some clips.
Yeah.
They showed part of that clip in the previous preview. They showed it where Coach T is like, what does he say? He's like, what are you guys doing here? You're not supposed to be here, or something like that. And the way they set it up, I thought there was going to be more confrontation, more meat to that confrontation. Like, I don't know. I thought there was going to be more to that instead of just a weird little like mind trick thing. I was a little bit disappointed because I built it up in my own head.
When I was watching this for the first time, I paused it quick to start getting my notes going, and I wrote epic Bombay versus Coach T throwdown and ended with, well,
never mind.
I guess Bombay is in his head.
Yeah.
So it didn't really live up to, but that's like this whole episode is like very quick moving, and there's a lot of characters moving in a lot of places, which I'm actually okay with. It's the first time we get almost every character really involved throughout the entire episode.
Yeah, I thought honestly this is one of the. Granted, there's zero hockey in this episode,
but it was a fun episode.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was one of the better ones for sure.
I did too. I thought it was fun. I thought that they, out of everything, I thought that they nailed the kids plot line of like the middle school interaction and the dance. It was so authentic. I think that's what made it enjoyable.
And like we have been saying this whole time, this was kid and team 100% focused episode. Yeah. You get a couple scenes with Stephanie and Alex back home, and then at the end you get a tiny little bit of Alex Bombay, but the vast majority of this episode is kid and team focus, which is what we've been calling for. So very, very welcomed episode. I thought it was one of the better ones for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And so after that quick interaction, they move again really quick, and we see, I loved it. Nick is flush, and he's just going hard at the merchandise stand. He's getting everything. And I actually really related to that because every time I would go play in a tournament, my parents would always, I had t-shirts from like every basketball tournament I've ever had. And shout out to Mama D's laundry skills. Like these are like 20 years old, and I was just home not that long ago, and they still look like new. Those old t-shirts, because I've just been wearing XL since like middle school. Yeah.
I was never a gift shop guy at any of the tournaments that I went to or any of that stuff. I was it wasn't my forte.
Oh, Mama D would give me a 20 and say, "Hey, go buy yourself some memories from this tournament." And bless her and Big Mike for letting me do that.
You know what they need to do is she needs to frame all those tournament t-shirts and like set up like a Hall of Fame shrine for you in one of the rooms, you know?
She has all of the t-shirts saved, and she's going to make a quilt.
Oh, okay, there you go. Quilt, even better.
Pinterest. I don't know. I don't get it, but shout out to
Maudie, always one step ahead.
Exactly.
She definitely needs to be. She's going to be a frequent co-host on Parenting with Brandon for sure.
She could teach you a thing or two. She's a real stickler though. So like if you're going to break any rules around her, she's going to give you the business. And so Nick's flushed. He's at the merchandise stand. He's buying everything. Sophie is talking with Lauren. Is like, "Hey, I'm going to go find Evan. I'm going to go ask it." And be like, "Yeah, I'm going to go to the dance with you." Lauren's like, "Cool. On my own girls' day, lip gloss." Gets another shout out really quick. But when we get to Evan, MJ is doing a quick interview, and Evan's like, "Oh, coach speak, like the game will work hard. The game will go okay." And he's like, "Hey, can we off the record this really quick? I need to talk to you about something." And MJ gets the wrong impression and is like, "Yes, Evan, I'll come with you."
Yeah. He's like, "If I like a girl, how do I ask her to a dance?" Essentially. And MJ reads that as, "Oh, you like me? Yes, let's go to the dance." Which, I mean, I did not understand. I assume it was just like a panic move. And and that the fact that she was just right there, that he asked MJ for advice. That struck me as weird. If anything, go ask Lauren.
I think it's because she was just standing right there.
Where the fuck is Winnie? That's who should have been driving the bus. That's who we need on the trip is Winnie. Where the fuck is Winnie?
Winnie is maintaining the Ice Palace. We've already talked about
this. There's no customers. Just shut it down for the weekend.
She is the backbone. It is midwinter. They are in the throng of 5-year-old birthday parties to be hosted at the Ice Palace. Someone has to hold down the fort. I guess.
But that would have been prime Winnie advice time though. She would have fucking crushed that.
She's sharpening their skates, and Evan walks into the room. He's like, "Listen, Winnie, I need some advice on Sophie." And she's pulling.
And she pulls the ketchup on the finger trick. Yeah,
absolutely. And then that's when they finally drop the ball that Winnie is Han's great granddaughter.
Oh, see, honestly, that's all. You wouldn't even have to acknowledge. You wouldn't even have to bring it up. You could just have her do like the ketchup trick, and then the people that know would know.
Would know, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
But the big payoff for this is that Sophie, on her way, hears MJ and Evan go into the dance together.
Yeah, she sees it. She's fucking heartbroken.
Absolutely. And I will have to say...
she's not heartbroken. She is enraged.
Yeah, she is pissed that he just asked her and then asked someone else. And Sophie does a great storm off. She's stormed off a few different times in the series, and she really has it down, like the big, heavy, hard steps, the pronounced arm swinging. Like she does an excellent storm off. So shout out Sophie for your ability to storm off. just had to say that. Yep. So then we jump to what was the biggest surprise to me was that we go to the office. Alex is hanging out. Alex,
my favorite. So this is we said the episode is more kid and teen focused, but there's like 5-8 minutes of Stephanie Alex scenes, and they are the best. Yeah,
gold.
Prime fucking Stephanie. This is where you find out that Stephanie and Clark are getting a divorce.
Well, and Alex is stealing, I think her name might have been like Debbie or Karen.
Oh, yeah, she's stealing
the Twizzlers.
The secret desk candy, yeah. It not only steals the candy and then proceeds to use her own personal back massager. That I take more offense to than the candy.
Violation of personal property. Yep. Just can't do it. I didn't like it. I didn't like it one bit, but we find out.
Thank God we're in a work from home environment now, Heath, where people can't just steal your fucking Twizzlers.
And they can't sneeze on their hands and then reach into the jar and grab them.
Yep.
Because that's what happens in the office.
Thank God.
People are disgusting.
I know. They're like talking about bringing people at my company back to the office, and I am not here for it. If they tell me I have to go into the office more than like 2 days a week, I'm just going to quit. I'm over it. Done.
Quit, cry a little bit, and get over it.
Hard no.
Can't deal with that.
Yeah.
But anyways, we've got Clark and Stephanie getting divorced. Stephanie's kind of processing it in front of Alex, which is it definitely crosses the line of boss employee.
Oh well, I mean, she crosses relationship. Stephanie crosses that every fucking episode. Every episode.
That's true.
Every interaction she has with Alex is a violation of those boundaries. But when Alex first walks in, she overhears Stephanie on the phone with Clark. And so she's yelling at Clark, and she's like, my favorite thing is she goes, I forget exactly how the conversation starts, but then she's like, no, Clark, you can't take our kids to Hawaii. Those are our miles. Which I love that Clark's first instinct after he realizes he's getting divorced is I need to take the kids to Hawaii.
Using the miles that they built together, because we established the first time we met Clark, that guy sucks.
He's the fucking worst.
And so, of course, he would do and use all of the points that they earned together without a second thought. Because
that's another thing. Because I don't have any kids, and B, I haven't been blessed with the experience of divorce. That's a thing you never really at least I never really thought about though. It's like, you gotta work out like the divvying of assets and all that kind of stuff. But like credit card miles, you got to divvy that up too. Like that's
why you don't get a joint credit card. Just get your own.
That's true. That's true.
You know what I mean?
There are so another some great advice, not necessarily parenting, but some relationship advice. Joint accounts are not all they're cracked up to be.
Absolutely. That's just a dangerous game.
There are even if you're in the happiest relationship in the entire world, there are so many benefits to keeping not necessarily like all of the money separate, but keeping separate accounts for individuals. I'm not saying you have to like exactly divide it up like her money's her money, his money's his money, or his money's his money and his money's his money. Yeah. But there are many benefits from financial, taxes, all that kind of stuff to keeping separate accounts.
Yeah, exactly. And if you decide to do a joint account, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Still keep your own separate accounts. If you use the joint account for paying bills and silly stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anyways,
you gotta treat your relationship like a business, Heath. You keep your relationship money in your relationship account and your personal money in your personal account. Just like you would keep you got to separate your business money from your personal money. You got to keep the paper trails separate,
Kids, you better listen up. You are getting educated by Brandon the accountant right here. Yes. And this is some advice to listen up to.
I don't have any kids, but I do have 2 companies. So they're my children.
Listen up. I think that we do have to give Stephanie a quick pep talk here, though, because Clark sucks. She should not be super beat up about this divorce. She should be ecstatic to be shedding the dead weight to get back out there and be a badass again. Like, I know they were number 1 and number 2 in law school. He was number 2. Stephanie, of course, wins.
So that I was going to bring that up. This is a scene a little bit later on, but I think we'll just lump both of these scenes together because she dropped some great stuff about her and Clark's relationship. Well, the fact that they were law school sweethearts.
Yeah.
Number 1 and number 2. He was, of course, number 2, though. You think fucking Clark's going to beat Stephanie? No.
Yeah.
And then she talks about how they always got to go.
Just go skiing.
Yeah. They always got to go big. They can't just go skiing. They got to go hella skiing. She's got to jump out of that airplane and keep that propeller just to remind her every time,
I don't know how people do stuff like that. I can't even ski like a bunny hill, let alone jump out of a helicopter and do it. That's wild, but props to people that can do it.
Yeah. I mean, even though born and raised in Colorado, I'm the world's worst skier. I have 0 ski skills. Like even going down to like you said, like bunny hills. It's just it was never something I really cared to do. That being said, if it was something that I cared about and had practiced and was like actually good at, then best believe I'm going hella skiing.
But that was a good interaction between Stephanie and Alex, right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was good, and it's right at the end of the second scene that we're talking about between Alex and Stephanie. Alex drops the line because Stephanie gets she's like spills her whole life story. She gets real depressed talking to Alex, and Alex says something along the lines of, "I think depressed Stephanie is my favorite Stephanie."
Yeah, she does say that because there are a few interactions and we'll get to in a second, like where Stephanie smokes her in the face with the golf ball. Like I love all those interactions. They're so great. But we get a vulnerable side of Stephanie, which it just cements that like even though Stephanie really was the worst in some episodes and she'd say things and you're like, oh God, just why do you have to say that? Yeah. She's still an amazing character in this show. Well, she absolutely crushed it.
She even says that. She says that about herself in the scene where she's talking to Alex, and she's like, "Alex, I'm super jealous of you. You're super nice and super cool. Your kid's a sweetheart." Which Evan's not a fucking sweetheart, but she's like, "I'm super jealous of you." Alex is like, "Oh, you're jealous of me? That's crazy." And she starts talking about hockey, like how good her and Evan are at hockey. And Stephanie goes, "Well, you're not that great. You're number 2. Number 1."
She's like, "I did it again."
Yeah, did it again. Here I go, just being a bitch. So she's got some self-awareness. I think what we gather from this episode is that it's really Clark. Clark is the terrible influence. You know, he's
Yeah.
ruining. Not only did he ruin Stephanie, now he's actively trying to ruin the kids.
Yes. And the kids are turning into little Clarks, and that sucks for everyone. And you can understand that, like, Stephanie was just probably this big badass powerhouse, and she's like, well, I better marry this other powerhouse. And then like a month into the marriage, she's
Classic,
like, well,
classic.
this guy sucks, but
Yeah.
adopts it, you know.
She did what Elle Woods almost did. Almost ruined her life. Stephanie married her Warner, you know, whereas Elle Woods, Legally Blonde, was able to realize the error of that way and, you know, divvy, and then she goes and marries Luke Wilson. Stephanie didn't have that realization. She went down the Warner path, and, you know, look where it gets you.
It gets you divorce and 2 kids that are bullies, you know, such is life sometimes, I guess. Yeah. Anyways, that's it. That's a great scene. And then we cut back to the party, and Nick, I forgot to mention, sorry, this is way back in the bus scene, but I forgot to mention, did you see the first showing of Don't Bother's gear? Nick had the Don't Bother's stocking hat, the yellow stocking hat.
Yep, they finally have merch. They finally got merch.
I meant to say that earlier. I that was one of the first things I saw. I was like, oh, we have Don't Bother's merch, and so that's an exciting revelation for them.
Plus, we still have the from last episode. We got the T-shirts that
that's right.
Paula and I don't know why I can't remember his other mom's name, but Nick's mom's made the putting fun first, the hashtag.
Putting fun first.
Those shirts and the beanies.
Yeah,
we finally got some team merch.
So that's an exciting revelation for them. But when we cut and we see Nick, this is why I love Nick. He's wearing all of the merch that he just bought at the stand to the dance that everyone else is at.
Yeah.
What a great kid.
Yeah,
he's such a sweetheart of a kid. I thought that was just like because it's the most real thing too, right? Like there's always that one kid on the team that buys the merch and then wears it immediately afterwards.
Not even just on the team. There's that person in every single aspect of life. You know, there's the kid. Yeah. So say you're going to like a fucking Aerosmith concert. There's the kid that shows up in an Aerosmith hat and an Aerosmith shirt. You know, or you're going to sports games are a little bit different because you're expected to wear that stuff. But like if you go to if you go to a WWE event, there's the dude who's wearing the John Cena hat, the John Cena shirt. He's got the wristbands. He's wearing the jorts. He's all decked out. He's ready to go.
I went as John Cena for Halloween one year, and I had the toy spinner belt. It was the best Halloween ever. Hitting everyone with the "you can't see me," and I bought the hat.
Were you even able to interact with anybody, Heath, if they couldn't see you?
It was tough. It was tough to go to the party, but I actually
played the song when I ran in. Echolocation.
Yeah, it was awesome. Favorite Halloween costume that I've ever had.
Okay.
Anyways, let's get back to Nick and Evan interaction because Nick is devastated that Evan asks MJ, and I love the way he describes it because
he makes it seem like it's like a whole like lifelong thing that he's been feeling when we know that's not true because he was head over heels for Winnie in episode 3. Yeah. You know, I get that it was in an inappropriate relationship he was aspiring for, but come on, you're gonna drop Winnie like that, like a bad habit so quick.
Brandon, we find out in this episode, and it's very true, in middle school, love is fleeting. Like, it can ebb and flow by the minute, by the second, let alone by the hour in the day. And I love the way Nick described it, though, because Evan's like, wait, you don't even talk to her. Like, I've never seen you talk to her outside of the podcast. And Nick is like, well, I'm a lion in the grass waiting for the hunt. And Evan's like, this is like the most secret relationship ever.
My favorite thing is Nick, when he's doing the lion analogy, he goes, I'm waiting in the grass for the proper time to pounce. And then when that time comes, I still don't do anything because I respect women.
I feel like that's like your move, Brandon.
Oh yeah.
It's absolutely the Brandon.
That's the Brandon, yeah. Is you wait it out, you know?
I actually put that in my notes.
Yeah. You
I
can't.
can totally see this move becoming the Brandon.
Yeah.
And I put it in my notes, but like because you respect women, and
Exactly.
so you're going to not pounce. You're going to
I would
them.
never pounce on a woman.
No.
Never.
Never. You will cordially greet them and ask them kindly if they would like to join you for a coffee.
Exactly.
And maybe not even do that. Just a permanent friend zone situation.
Yeah. But I do it to myself. I friend zone myself.
The self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Yeah.
How's your love life going? It's great. I've friend zoned myself with like 10 chicks.
Yeah. It's going fantastic. I've got 15 best friends right now.
It's awesome. And then, so while that, right after that happens, MJ comes up to join them. And I love that Nick gets real awkward really quick and bails for some cocktail franks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, are those cocktail franks? And then Evan gives MJ the most awkward interaction, a friendly jab kind of awkward punch to the shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah. Gives her all punch to the shoulder.
And then immediately we get whipped around because MJ goes, whoa, new power couple.
Power couple.
Who else?
Here to steal the show.
And they kind of do. They kind of do look like a power couple.
They do.
Trevor and Sophie, though. Trevor.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
I mean, who else would it be? You know?
I mean, she does do a great job coming in, immediately making Evan jealous right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. And she's the only one who's actually dressed for a party.
Yeah.
Everybody, like, MJ's wearing like a freaking
Is it overalls?
Overalls over a sweater.
Yeah.
And then Nick's decked out in his state championship t-shirt and hat. And then everybody else is just wearing like Evan, I think, is just wearing a jean jacket over a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And yeah. So but Sophie comes in and she's got like a nice sequined top, you know, looking great.
They both look sharp.
With the light bouncing off the disco ball and hitting the sequins, you know.
It's excellent, but everyone is jealous. But then the camera immediately moves over to Maya and Lauren's just sitting there all alone. She sees a different group of girls having a girls' weekend. It's
and then heartbroken, dude.
Yeah.
I almost cried at that part.
That was so sad, especially because like Lauren is such a nice person and she's a female warrior and she just wants a good friend, and then she gets bailed on, but she's so nice. She just doesn't even, think anything of it. And then Maya doesn't even think about her feelings. Just like, oh my gosh, Xander's the one.
Yeah, we get some. Yeah, she comes in first hot with the Xander is amazing. I love all the Viper freeze. It's fantastic. And then she keeps coming back every once in a while. Like every like cut scene or whatever is her coming back. And at one point Xander's the best, the next point Xander's the worst. And then she's like, he doesn't really get me, but like the chemistry's so good. When the chemistry is this good, do you let it go or do you fight for it? Yeah,
because the next interaction, it's coming up. Before that interaction is some Coach T and Bombay initial bonding. But I know you're talking about.
Yeah, and the Coach T, this is where they tease, good guy Coach T a little bit, because you get
he's getting the business from a parent,
which after what transpires had to be a plant, right?
You think so?
Just like with the Hockey Moms episode where they conspired to get the Don't Bothers in. I think Coach T hired that parent to, just be a dick to him so he could weasel his way into Bombay's nice side.
I was shocked he let that happen. That parent was like, "Hey, you need to earn your check. You better play my kid more."
Yeah.
And so they're just bonding over those bad parents. And, parents do get so aggressive with all that stuff.
They're the worst,
I mentioned on the podcast before, I used to ref middle school and high school girls and boys basketball summer league games. And I would get screamed at by parents. It's like, dude, I have been working 7 to 4 and now I'm reffing your kid's shitty basketball game and with no air conditioning in the middle of the summer. Please stop talking to me. Like, I don't care. Yeah, I'm not going to blow the whistle because I'm tired and I want to go home.
Yeah. I umped baseball for a couple of years, and it was the parents were the fucking worst. And then I had my when I was playing, I had my grandpa would come to all my games, and my grandpa, God rest his soul, was not a great person. And he would he was the parent who would, like, in my, like, you know, like 10-year-old freaking little league games, would be screaming at the umpire, like, that's a strike, like, just shit like that. And it's just,
Come on,
God. Yeah. And it's like, I'm 10 years old, the ump is 17. Calm down, grandpa. Like, why are we screaming at these people? Yeah, he was a God,
I feel like
God rest his soul. Well, and it wasn't only that. Like, so he had my family has season tickets to the Denver Broncos, and that grandpa got them in like 1960, whenever the Broncos started. I think it was 1960. So he's had them forever. Like, was a diehard Broncos fan, and I would go to the games with him, and he would just get so riled up there. He would proceed to get just blackout fucking drunk, and then he would pick fights with fans of the other team. And it's like, and when I would go to the games with him, I would be like 10, 11, 12 years old. And it's like, Grandpa, you're on your own here. I can't.
I do not have your back. No. I cannot hold my own in a fight. I honestly, even at 35, I wouldn't want to.
Yeah. So it's exactly what it was like. As a 10-year-old, I can't fight these people. And as a non-terrible human being, I refuse to fight these people.
I don't want to. It's football. Yeah. Like, no one loves their football teams more than me, but it's definitely not worth fighting over.
No, oh God, I was traumatized. That's why I don't follow the Broncos at all anymore, because it's just too much trauma involved. You know, I can't handle it.
but so Bombay and Coach T, they saddle up together at the bar. They're getting ready to
Bombay's just drinking Cokes though.
I actually put that note. I saw Bombay drinking soda, and we're proud of him here on the podcast. You know, we want to make sure that he's being safe and healthy, and he's getting out of the basement of the Ice Palace. You know, we're hopeful for him.
Exactly. Yeah. He's he tackled that demon. Let's not let it back in your life, Bombay. You know.
Absolutely. And so he is trying to do what he did to Iceland, where he talked to the trainer, he flirted with the trainer. Now he's kind of pulling that move with Coach T, like, hey, saddle up, buddy. Let's just talk. Let's chit chat. Let's talk coach to coach. And so they're going to bond. I can't wait to see what happens. But before we see what happens, we cut back to the dance, and we see some slow dancing going on. A love hectagon is taking place, if you will. That's the 5-sided shape, right? I'm not good at it.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's hope so.
You said hexagon, right?
Oh, no, I said hectagon, but maybe it's a hexagon. I don't know. It's one of those shapes.
I think hex is 5.
Okay. We'll have to have our non-existent research team look it up later.
I specifically skipped all geometry classes.
That's terrible.
It's a hard pass for me.
My geometry teacher was kind of mean too, so that didn't help.
I don't think there's such thing as a nice geometry teacher. I think it's part of the requirements. You got to be just the worst.
As if math isn't hard enough, every math teacher is a hard ass that makes you want to cry a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. And especially when you're throwing in shapes, you know, like in like triangles and shit, like sine, cosine, and tangent. That was the useless information.
Less than useless information. Show kids how to do their taxes and how to responsibly manage credit cards.
Exactly. I forget. Oh, I think it might have been Minnesota. There was news I saw the other day. I forget. It was one of like the Midwestern states. They made financial literacy a required high school class.
Oh,
I forget if it was Minnesota or not, but whoever it was, good for you.
Yeah, congrats. We approve of that.
Yes.
So what do you think about Evan's awkward dancing with MJ? I got a really good kick out of that because we see to set the picture, we have Evan and MJ dancing, and Evan is facing Sophie and Trevor dancing, but then behind Sophie and Trevor dancing is Nick kind of holding up the wall as, kind of being a wallflower, to speak.
So
And
you
every
have
time Evan wants to make Sophie jealous, he puts his hands on MJ.
Yep.
But then he sees Nick in the background and he takes his hands off of MJ really quickly. And so he's doing this hands up, hands down kind of dance. And Nick is at the wall and he turns to his friends and says, boy, I just don't know what's worse, watching my best friend dance with my crush or watch what my best friend thinks is dancing.
Yeah. Yeah, Nick calls him out for it. And then you even like a little bit later on, Sophie is talking to Evan and she's like, you're the worst dancer in the world. You look like a drunk penguin.
And he really did. That's a very accurate description.
Yeah.
Evan just doesn't quite have those dancing skills down yet, which is okay. 12-year-old boys.
Well, I mean, I feel like if you gave him a non-fucking emotional minefield to, wander through while he's dancing, he probably wouldn't have been that bad.
But give him a chance where he can just be loose and shake his tail feather a little bit, then he would be okay.
Yeah. Where there's not two people staring daggers at him regardless of what decision he makes.
I also loved Logan's line to Nick where it was...
Oh, yeah, this is where you get romantic Logan again, yeah.
Oh, yeah, but it's both sides of the coin. He's like, well, hey, there's a chance that maybe she's just not meant to be his girl.
Well, what he says is, he goes, don't worry, Nick. If you guys are meant to be, if she's meant to be your girl, then it'll work out in the end. But if she's
meant to be his girl,
if she's meant to be Evan's girl, then it probably won't work out.
Thanks, Logan.
Yeah,
feeling real good about that now.
Solid advice.
So happy. And then we go over to Maya, who is just in the thick of some middle school drama. I love that she was like, I only play power ballads or something
she's
like that on Spotify.
She's yelling at Xander and she's like, I can't believe you told him to play rap. I only listen to power ballads. That's the only thing that's on my Spotify playlist. How do you not know that? And then Xander says something about, I can't believe you listen to that stuff. It literally makes my ears bleed or something like that.
Yeah. He's like maybe you need to branch out.
How are power ballads making your ears bleed?
I don't know. Do you happen to know a popular power ballad off the top of your head? I was trying to think of one.
Any like 80s hair metal love song would be like a power ballad. Like
Total Eclipse of the Heart?
Yeah. Power ballad.
That is one of my favorite songs to karaoke.
Yeah, that or
it's a great song.
I'm trying to think. And I'm blanking on
probably anything Journey does.
Yeah, like what's the main song? Why can't I think of any Journey songs? Don't Stop Believing. That's a power ballad. There we go. Don't Stop Believing. You can tell how much I love Journey by my extensive knowledge of all their songs.
Well, Glee kind of broke Journey for everyone. It kind of got a little played out after they really made it blow up again.
Well, it's Glee, and then the fact that every motherfucker at karaoke wants to sing "Don't Stop Believing."
Yeah, that's true. That and Sweet Caroline. Pick new songs.
Don't even get me started on Sweet Caroline. I hate that song. It's one of the worst songs ever written.
But what did you think about them immediately having middle school pet names for each other too? Because after blow up,
I didn't catch the pet names. What were the pet names?
Okay, so once again, subtitles. I
had them on for this, but I must have been like in the middle of writing a note or something. So I didn't catch them.
So she's back complaining to Lauren, like, "Oh my gosh, it's like he doesn't even know me." And Lauren's like, "Yeah, it's almost like you didn't meet 2 hours ago." Like, just the voice of reason. Lauren is too logical to be 12. Like, that's what happens when you're that logical. You can't always hit it off with every kid you meet. She's just too much like an adult. But and then Maya sees Xander behind him. He's like, my.
Oh,
and she's like, Zandy or something.
That's right. Okay, I got you.
Terrible. And he has the little. And I was totally with Lauren, though. She actually put her cape up to block out that disgusting display of nonsense. And so they kind of got back together a little bit, whatever. But then we flash scene over to what really matters. And it's back to Coach T and Bombay at the bar. Saturday.
Yep. And this is where you get a little more good guy, Coach T, They tease it a little bit. They're talking about the stresses of, coaching, and Bombay starts giving him the recruitment story about how he got banned from coaching NCAA.
Real quick before we get into that story, we have some great Coach T lines where he talks about a dad tried to sue him for benching his kid.
Yeah.
And then there was another one where he was like, "Listen, man, one time I dunked orange slices in Red Bull."
Oh, yes. I wrote
them to the kids.
I wrote that down. That's so good. So good.
Yes, Coach T. Listen, if you are just not liking the energy at practice, you got to give the kids some orange slices.
Yeah.
But
you got to get
them, that's okay.
Yeah, you got to get the boys buzzing a little bit,
Get them go. You're not going to wheel snipe Selly when you don't have the juices flowing.
Exactly.
They in Letterkenny they got it from dip. When they don't even do a lipper, not a dipper. Come on, boys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought you would enjoy that, Coach T dunking orange slices. But then he gives some bonding moments, like, "Oh, you're the Zen master, Bombay," and then Bombay gives the NCAA story. Did you notice they switched gears on it though? Before, in the earlier episodes, Bombay, when he was talking with Alex, he was like, "Oh yeah, I gave a kid some tape and I got fired for it." But this time he made it seem like the kid was poor and Bombay gave him like money for his family.
No, I don't.
Cash.
He didn't give him cash. They're not insinuating that.
Oh, really? You didn't think so?
He's talking about the tape.
Ugh. Worst recruiting violation ever.
Yeah, he mentions the fact that the kid's poor when he's talking to Alex too.
Yeah,
he said it's.
Oh, really?
I don't think he doesn't specifically call him poor, but he says the kid couldn't afford the tape, so he just gave him to it. But yeah, it's dumb, and it's dumb that it's a dumb recruiting violation, which makes no fucking sense.
Yeah,
I hated everything about where this is going. It was my least favorite thing.
Yeah, but they needed some drama.
It's such manufactured nonsense drama because
this is actually what I was waiting for, Brandon. I have to be honest with you. I was waiting for you to rip into this episode, and I can't believe it took this long for you.
Well, because like I said, I enjoyed the rest of it. All the team focused stuff I thought was fantastic. It was good. All the kid stuff, the dance stuff, all their stuff I thought was fantastic. But they took a lot of liberties. This Coach Bombay stuff, in classic sitcom fashion, it's a problem that's created in the episode and then resolved at the end of the episode. But they create this problem at the very end of this episode. It's like, there's like 8-10 minutes left tops of this episode. And they create this issue. So essentially, to jump ahead, I guess, so Coach T realizes Bombay is banned from coaching in the NCAA again.
Yeah.
Just so happens that this Minnesota Youth Hockey Championship or whatever is an NCAA sponsored event.
Yeah.
So technically, Bombay is not allowed to coach in this because he can't coach for an NCAA event.
Yes.
And then so Coach T rats him out. Bombay is called to like a little hearing with the board or whatever.
Yes, and there are some gems before the hearing and everything though. So
yes.
we will.
We'll get to all that. Essentially though, that it gets resolved and Bombay is allowed to coach during the event or whatever. And so this event or this issue gets created with less than 10 minutes left in the episode and resolved 5 minutes later. It is such like drama for the sake of drama. They spent 5 minutes on this whole fucking problem, and it has no bearing. It was not needed. It was completely unnecessary. You could have taken these 5 minutes and focused on literally anything else, and it would have been better served.
Or just Coach T and Bombay having like a crazy rivalry or like fighting back and forth and like getting shots back and forth at each other. And
so there's one of two directions you could go with this to make it infinitely better is you keep playing the Bombay Coach T mind games where they're feuding, they're playing little like tricks on each other, whatever, they're fighting, whatever you want to do with that. Or you go with what I thought they were going to do, which is where you have like a good like what they did with Stephanie, where you have like Coach T, you see the good side of Coach T. You see why he is the way he is. maybe there's a little sliver of hope that he sees, he comes back around, he turns a corner.
He pulls a Grinch where his heart grows
Exactly
3 sizes that day.
And so what I was really hoping is that they would tease that a little bit, right? So you get Coach T you get a little good Coach T, and then because like we mentioned before, at the end of this season, there's got to be something where either Bombay takes over the Ducks or the Don't Bothers become the Ducks or something like that.
Team resolution needs to happen between these two conflicting teams.
And so what I was really hoping they would do is you tease good guy Coach T here, and maybe a little more in episode 10. And then when the inevitable switch happens, you bring Coach T along as an assistant coach. He's under
Coach
Bombay.
T and Bombay together, and Coach Bombay shows Coach T the meaning of having fun.
Exactly. And then you can eventually, like thinking, like 3 seasons, a couple movies down the line, Coach T becomes your new Bombay. You can focus, Emilio can ride off in the sunset, and you get Dylan Playfair as like the new kind of coach guy, which I would love.
He's the new Bombay.
I love Dylan Playfair. I think he's a fantastic actor. And I love Coach T, the character. I think it's fantastic so far.
Yeah, he could have been the new Bombay and ride off into the sunset, but they just kind of kept him as a bad guy.
Because what I'm afraid is that whenever the switch happens and the Ducks are no longer the bad guys, is that Coach T just disappears.
Yeah, I
don't want that.
We need Coach T in season 2. So
yes,
no
absolutely.
matter what happens with this, because we'll get to it. I wrote it was extremely ballsy for Coach T to be standing in the hearing, watching it all unfold. I loved every second of that. But we'll get to the hearing here in a minute. Before that happens, I just had to say, because it cuts to, because like Coach T and they're empathizing with each other, whatever. And then Stephanie and Alex are bonding. And I love it because Stephanie is like complaining about Clark again. And she's like, don't mansplain how to cut a bagel to me. I'm not the one missing
Clark's missing a fingertip. What did he do? Did he lose it by cutting a bagel? I assume so.
That's what I assume. He was cutting a bagel and he cut off his fingertip. I loved everything about that. I wrote that down to me. I was like, what did Clark do? What a dumbass. But that was just a really quick scene where they're like, oh, we're friends. We're drinking wine. Hey, let's go raid the big boss's cheese fridge. He has a cheese fridge, which I'm sure there's like a delicious smoked Gouda in there, maybe some kind of a nice Munster. I'm sure there's some really delightful cheesers. Hopefully they have some nice water crackers to accompany them.
Yeah. Hopefully there's some crackers, maybe a little baguette too.
Yeah. That would be delightful. But that might be asking for too much in an office. You're probably just getting some Ritz.
I don't know. If you're going to the trouble of a cheese fridge,
you have to have accompaniment for it.
Yeah,
that's true. That's a good point. But then that was like the quickest scene ever, and there wasn't a lot of context in there other than like those kind of like quick moments.
Well, it was mainly there just to show you that
the bonding,
because Alex says she's like, maybe I should leave, and Stephanie is staying the night at the office because she doesn't want to go home because Clark is busy packing all his shit. Yeah. And she doesn't want to go there. And so then Alex decides to stay the night with Stephanie there. She's like, oh,
they have a slumber party.
We're best friends now. I'll stay with you.
Yep. Just like Nick and Evan solidifying their best friendship with the slumber party, Stephanie and Alex cement their newfound friendship with the slumber party.
Yeah. Exactly.
At the office.
Yeah.
After they raid the cheese fridge and they have their slumber party, we get back to the culmination of the dance and we see Evan finally breaking it to MJ. Hey, I was just trying to be a nice guy. I panicked. I didn't know.
He has the fight with Sophie beforehand at the photo booth.
Oh, that's right. They're in the photo booth. They're arguing back and forth. And he was just like, why would Trevor want to go out with you? And like really hurt her feelings and was just not very nice.
Yeah. And then he comes out and he goes right up to MJ and he's like, hey, I'm sorry if I gave you the wrong impression. My favorite thing he says is he goes, I'm sorry if I gave you the wrong impression. I just didn't want to kill
you bad vibes.
Yeah, I didn't want to give you bad vibes. I didn't want to throw those bad vibes out there. So I just,
Great excuse. Great excuse. Like, listen, I was trying to dodge the bad vibes. I staved them off for a little bit, but I'm just going to have to put these bad vibes on you now. That's my bad. I should have just thrown it out there right away. But MJ says, oh, perfect. I was just using you to get at Nick. Have you seen us pass in the hall? You can cut the romantic tension with a butter knife.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing.
What a line.
Talking about bad vibes, though, I was trying to remember. I was having a hard time, but that line fucking cracked me up because it reminded me so much of, I don't know if have I told you about the show, The Real Bros of Simi Valley? It's no. It's it's on Facebook Watch. It's free. Even if you don't have a Facebook account, you can just like type it in and you can find all the episodes. It's like a spoof on a reality TV show, like The Real Housewives, but it's these group of bros, but it's all like the dude guy.
Yeah,
he's one of the characters in it.
I love it.
There's it's just like a bunch of weird like Instagram and like YouTube people.
Nice. Vine, remember Vine?
Vine, but it's legitimately hilarious. It's the dumbest show I've ever seen, but I'm convinced it's the greatest piece of American art in like the last 2 centuries. It's so good. But what at the end of the very first season, and all the episodes are like 15-20 minutes long. It's real easy.
Okay.
It's it's really quick watch. And I think the first episode or the first season, there's only like 4 episodes, and I think those episodes are like 7 minutes long. So it's like real quick. But at the end of the first season, one of the characters, the sud dude guy, proposes to one of the girls, and she says yes. And then at the beginning of the second season, she calls it off, and she's like, "I can't do this anymore. I don't want to marry you. I can't do this anymore." And he goes, "Well, why'd you say yes if you didn't want to marry me?" And she goes, "Well, everybody was all happy. They were all celebrating stuff. I didn't want to kill the vibes."
And that's understandable. That actually probably happens more than most couples are willing to admit, because they just wait and get divorced 10 to 15 years later.
Yes, and
maybe not even that.
And that proposal was very public. It was in front of all of their friends after they had just like done something cool and were celebrating or whatever, like out of nowhere in front of all the friends. Like you can't.
That's a lot of pressure. You're not going to say no.
No, you would be. That would be so awkward if you said no.
And the people that do say no live in infamy on the internet.
And then they get ostracized from those friends,
Yeah. For being so heartless. And it's like, well, what do you want? They get married for 5 years and then get divorced? It's the same result in the end.
I'm a huge opponent of, I don't know if that's the right phrase, a huge opponent of public proposals. I think it's the meanest and most manipulative way you can propose is to do it in front of a crowd. Like at
an athletic event, get your shit together. Do something that means something.
Any kind of crowd, especially if it's like a friend, like friends or family. Unless like you have talked about, like if it's an impromptu proposal and you do that. If it's like if you and your significant other have talked about it and you're like, yes, we should get married, we both agree, then that kind of public thing's not that big of an issue. But if it's like an impromptu, like out of fucking nowhere proposal and it's in front of people, you're an asshole. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. And you're probably manipulating them because there's a chance they might say no in private.
Yes. Yeah.
So we're not big fans of the super public proposal, sneak attack proposal. Not fans of that here on the podcast. You need to make sure you need to be respectful and make sure that both of you are on the same page before jumping into that commitment. That's not a commitment that you surprise someone with. It's like, oh, hey, surprise, I bought us a new couch or a new car. Like, this is like, surprise, you're stuck with me forever.
Yeah. Well,
not forever. Yeah. Surprise, you can take half my shit later.
Yeah. You're stuck together until the vibes run out,
and then the vibes are done. But anyways, the big ending of the dance is that Evan walks MJ over to Nick and he unites them. He's like, you like each other, finally. Go.
Our star-crossed lovers are finally united.
It's beautiful. And we're happy for Nick.
It's not the relationship that I thought I wanted, but it's the relationship I needed,
And we should have known, we should have seen that writing on the wall, just because you don't get to be the number 2 podcast in Southeast Minnesota without a little bit of romantic sparks flying. You, as a big fan of Hallmark movies, Brandon, you have seen this plot line time and time again. They love the old 2 people working at the radio station together. But they're not in love, but they are in love, but then they end up falling for each other during the Christmas season.
Yep. Classic. Christmas in July. It's the best time of the year, Heath. Best time of the year.
I don't agree. I'm not a big Hallmark movie fan, but I won't sit here and I know a lot of people love them, and so I'm not going to take that away from people. I'm going to let others enjoy those. It's just not for me.
That's fair.
I love Christmas movies. Like especially like the old claymation movies. A Year Without a Santa Claus is definitely one of my favorites. Obviously, A Christmas Story. Kelly enjoys Christmas movies with me, but we don't get to start until December 1st. But from December 1st until December 25th, it's all Christmas TV and movies nonstop.
See, I feel you on that. I don't personally care for Christmas itself as a holiday, but I love Christmas movies. I love Christmas TV shows, and you best believe as soon as I finish that last little bite of mashed potatoes for Thanksgiving dinner, the plate's cleaned off, I'm flipping on Hallmark Channel, and we're watching fucking Christmas movies until the end of the year.
Wow. Hey, props to you. There's a great scene in Bob's Burgers where they just finish Halloween, I think.
Oh, they put the Christmas tree up.
November 1st, and Linda's putting the Christmas tree up. I always love that. I'm not that
gung ho about it. I wait till after Thanksgiving, but as soon as Thanksgiving's over, it's fucking Christmas time.
It's go time. Well, we always decorated my parents' house after Thanksgiving.
Okay. Yeah.
That was post Thanksgiving. We would start the decorations going. But anyways, that was a great Hallmark movie, Ran. I wanted to get you going on that. I know you love some Christmas in July.
Oh yeah, best time of the year.
But so that was we got the epic conclusion to the dance of Nick and MJ getting together. So now it flashes to the next morning. There at breakfast, we learn that Maya and Xander have officially broken up. She's done with him, moved on. He just didn't get her. Yep. Sophie walks in. Evan slides over. Hey, Sophie, come sit by me. She gives him the cold shoulder.
Go fuck yourself, Evan.
Yeah, just a real kind of like whips her hair around too when she kind of gives him that shoulder. Once again, Sophie has that kind of like fuck you, get away from me, walk away.
Yeah.
Like she crushes that.
It's deservedly so. Evan, the last interaction she had with Evan was like, "You're completely unlovable. Nobody would like you." So obviously, like, go fuck yourself, Evan.
Yeah, trying to say that Trevor was only trying to get team secrets. He didn't actually like her,
which is bullshit because we've at least I have noticed the sexual tension between Sophie and Trevor since episode 3. You know, when he I think it's 3. It's either 3 or 2. Whenever they do the pizza math date, whenever that is.
Trevor's jealous. He doesn't like seeing Evan there with Sophie. Yeah. He was like, hey.
Drops the book, starts like insulting Evan, you know.
Gently sets the book down.
Yeah.
the modern kid bullying.
Yeah, you could tell right from that get-go, from that scene that, you know, Trevor's got a case of the Sophies.
I also have to. Did you see the product placement during this interaction for the Honey Nut Cheerios?
The scene is littered with Honey Nut Cheerio boxes.
Every kid is eating Honey Nut Cheerios.
Not only are they eating Honey Nut Cheerios with the bowl, each kid has the box next to them, perfectly placed in front of the camera.
So that each screenshot for each person has a mini box in front of their face. Great job. I buy Honey Nut Cheerios anyways. We've talked about this on the podcast. Helps lower the cholesterol. They just updated from all circles to now they have circles and hearts. And I think that's how it helps lower your cholesterol.
Yeah. I did I did just buy a box of Honey Nut Cheerios, so I understand you. It's been I call bullshit on the cholesterol stuff, and I've read a few articles to where it's all just it's just marketing speak.
But they're still good.
They taste good. Yeah, one of the better cereals.
It's not like Cinnamon Toast Crunch or maybe some Crunch Berries or like the Reese's Puffs, but it's still a wonderful cereal.
It's great, and it's a good middle. Because like the ones you mentioned are fantastic, but it's like so much sugar with those.
Yeah.
To whereas like Honey Nut Cheerios is a good middle ground between that and like Raisin Bran.
Yep, I was gonna say Raisin Bran too.
Yeah.
We're in sync on our cereals.
Yeah, I'll get down with some Raisin Bran or some Special K with the strawberries, the freeze-dried strawberries.
Those are okay, but yeah, that's a good assessment of Honey Nut Cheerios.
Some grape nuts. I used to crush grape nuts when I was a kid.
Some Kicks, like the plain Kicks.
Oh yeah. Kicks are good too.
Anyways, that's the product placement. It just got me because they really pumped it in front of us with the Honey Nut Cheerios. Kids love eating Honey Nut Cheerios. Go buy some, kids. And then we have Nick just on cloud nine, and I love that Evan's like, Sophie hates me, and Nick's like, who gives a shit? Whatever it took to get me and MJ together.
I'm in love. Nobody cares about you, Evan.
And he also lets Evan know, hey, I always thought I was your sidekick. Not anymore. I'm the guy that gets the girl.
Well,
who would have thought?
Yeah, he goes, huh? I'm the one who ends up with the girl. Who would have thought? Roll credits or something like that.
Yeah, roll credits. It's over. And so as that's all going down and Nick's on cloud nine, I actually put this in my notes. Bombay walks in dressed in the Brandon special.
Yeah. He's got his dress clothes on.
The flannel, the Brandon special. He walks
going somewhere fancy.
Yeah, he's got to be looking extra dapper. Yeah. And Nick is smiling at him like a lunatic. And I love that he calls it. It's like, yeah, you're making me uncomfortable. Quit looking at me like that. Let's get out of here. But then they find out. The guy walks in, Coach Bombay, we have a serious deal. Okay, we're going to have the hearing. But then Evan gives a quick call up to Alex, and he's like, Mom, you got to get here. We got to lawyer up.
Yeah,
we got to lawyer up.
So that was another thing I didn't get. Bombay is a fucking lawyer, too. Like, I mean, I didn't understand what Alex is bringing to the table that Bombay couldn't have done himself,
Alex is bringing the effort and the drive that escaped Bombay long ago.
Yeah, she's doing the effort and the research, which, I mean...
Bombay's not doing the heavy lifting there. He's going to the bar and probably like, well, I'm not going to coach anyways. May as well break this and take a shot.
He does give a fantastically emotional speech, though.
Oh, I actually put that note. Gives a rousing speech.
Yeah. Like, one of his better speeches, yeah.
Bombay hits those out of the park, and they always do a nice job bringing the music in towards the end. And they're like, "Man, you're really here for those kids." He's like, "Yeah, I am here for those kids." And I love. They're like, "Doesn't matter. You broke the rules. Tough shit."
Yeah. I love that.
And then Kuba's like, "You missed the message. You missed the message."
And then Alex and Stephanie come barging through, and Alex has her fucking the thing that gets Bombay out of it. Which I didn't understand. This was so convoluted and fucking stupid too. So Bombay is banned from coaching NCAA events.
Yes.
And this is an NCAA sponsored tournament. And what makes it an NCAA sponsored tournament is because all of the kids are prospective student athletes for the NCAA.
Yes.
Because they were scouted during the season.
Yes.
So that's the basis that they lay down for you. And then Alex comes in with the loophole, which is that doesn't apply to the don't bothers because nobody scouted us.
Yes. They didn't even bother.
Does it...
that loophole is Sophie was probably scouted before she was on the Don't Bother.
Yeah.
So
or
technically
the scouts who are coming in to watch the other teams they're coming to the games where they play the Don't Bothers. How the fuck do you know they're not scouting the Don't Bothers as well?
Exactly. Like that was my thought. It's like, hey, they didn't come to the Don't Bothers, but they may have shown up for some. Maybe they just made sure not to show up for those games. That's the only thing I could think of.
I guess maybe. But you bring up a good point about Sophie. I didn't even think about that. Sophie for sure would have been. That's the whole point of her fucking life is to be scouted.
Yeah, those first 3 games, she's getting scouted on the Ducks, and so their loophole could get crushed by that.
Yeah. It was.
I hated it.
It was a dumb problem. It was a dumb fucking problem to bring into Bombay's backstory in the first place. Then they doubled down and made it an issue in this episode, and then they tripled down and gave us the stupidest loophole in the fucking world to fix it. It's just like, just scrap this and focus on literally anything else, and your episode would have been way better.
Yeah. So that was tough. But you know what I wrote down? Just because they just had Alex start to spurt some stuff that sounded legalese. I just put bird law, Charlie Day.
Bird law.
Yeah. Alex is just in there throwing some bird law at them, and they didn't even know what hit them. Yeah. And so we talked about it. The conclusion is Bombay gets to coach. Yay. Okay, cool. And then the hearing's done. They celebrate, and the hearing's done.
I love that you wrote bird law. My notes just say, this is so dumb.
That was my version of this is so dumb. Yeah. Bird law.
Yeah, bird law.
I know a thing or two about bird law.
Well, this is the other thing that threw me for a loop. Okay, so the loophole works. They're like, okay, you can coach. Bombay can coach because, it's an NCAA sponsored event, but the Don't Bothers are not technically sponsored by I don't know, fucking bullshit. But so Bombay can coach. But then they go, like all the kids come around. Everybody's like, "Oh, thank you, Alex. You're so good. Thank you so much. You saved the day." They like instantly forgive Alex for what they fired her for. They're like, "Whatever, unfired." So she says, "Don't worry, guys. I'm just here to help Bombay out. I'm Mom Alex, not Coach Alex. I'm not your coach." And then all the kids are like, "No. We want you to coach. Come back and coach." And it's like, well, if that was the case, just why did we go through this whole thing? Just you coach him and let fucking Bombay go sit on the stands. Like,
I thought the same thing. Like, just let her come in and coach.
Yeah.
Instead of but they wanted to be together. Kids are so fickle. I'm not surprised. It's like, hey, you saved the day. You know what? You can be on the bench with us. We forgive you now because she saved the day. Kids are fickle.
Yeah, they're not that fickle though.
Yes, 12-year-olds.
I was not that fickle. I held grudges for decades when I was that young.
That's because you have hate in your heart, Brandon.
That's fair. I didn't have an MJ to my Nick to, warm my cold soul.
There was nothing melted on Brandon. You just became Mr. Freeze, the Iceman.
Exactly. What's Nick Miller say? When he's like, I love getting old. I feel like I'm finally growing into my personality. That's how
that is you, Brandon.
Even as a 12-year-old, I was just like, come on, let's speed this up. When do I get to be 50?
When do I get to scream at people and not get in trouble for it?
Exactly. That's the only thing I'm missing is I don't have my own lawn. That's what I need to get so I can start yelling at kids. My like ultimate life goal is to be like the crazy old man that lives like at the top of the cul-de-sac or whatever.
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh, that's old man Axelson's house. Like,
don't mess with him.
Has anybody ever talked to him? Oh, no. Nobody's seen him in years or something like that.
And has like weird like lawn ornaments.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That
like,
just like don't make any sense. Yeah. Crazy like satanic lawn gnomes.
Yeah. That's my life goal. That's what I aspire to be. And like my house is entirely like painted black for some reason. It's like, what was it like that when he bought it? No, it was like white, and then he just painted it black.
He's a disturbed man. So anyway, so that's the conclusion. And then we just have one last quick conclusion, and then this episode is over. It's Evan and Sophie. They get together. They realize Evan lets her know, I 3 fire emoji like you.
Yep.
And Sophie is moved, and that's nice. That's a 3 fire emoji like. That's real. That's love.
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then we get the old Ducks music. Remember all the old Ducks music from, and it kind of fades out, and they're driving to the ice rink and like that. Do they pull up? I can't remember. I think they pull up to
they
to
pull
the
up
ice.
and they like get out, and then that's when it like zooms out and you see the Minnesota Igloo sign. And you see,
and it's like it's time.
We're here, States, baby.
Whoa, we're here.
Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to create and distribute a podcast, and it's completely free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone and computer. Anchor will help you distribute your podcast so that it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. Anchor also helps you monetize your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today.
A quick message from our friends at Broken Forest Collective. Built on a passion for small batch and handcrafted products, Broken Forest provides high-quality casual wear and lifestyle goods that are American-made and built to outlast the fast fashion trends. They also plant a tree in Boulder, Colorado for every product sold. Visit brokenforestco.com and use the code CakeEaters15 for 15% off your order.
So yeah, that was episode 9. Like I said, I thought it was one of the better episodes, other than the Bombay coaching subplot that took 5 minutes. Again, like it wasn't focused on enough and didn't make any sense. It would have been an easy like cut and paste, get that out of here, bring literally anything else in.
Just have them be like, have them do a back and forth where they're just needling at each other and they're poking at each other and they're creating this like really tense rivalry that erupts with something a little bit more substantial.
Yeah. Or even like throw it the opposite way and you get like a little like
the soft-hearted.
You get, you see that like Bombay, he starts giving him Coach T some like mentor advice, like says one way or the other. Instead of whatever the fuck they did. It still doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it.
But here we are, Brandon. We're at States. It's the final countdown. Who would have ever thought that 3 episodes ago, 2 members of the team couldn't even skate or handle a stick, and now they're at States.
Bombay says that in the hearing too. He's like, then these guys came into my life. They couldn't even skate. I think he says one of them couldn't even hold a hockey stick or something like that. And he's like, now we're in States. That's how good of a coach I am. That's why you should let me keep coaching.
The real underdog story. I mean, we see these Cinderella runs in the NCAA tournament, but they're still collegiate athletes. They're not learning how to play basketball before they upset these higher ranked teams. This is just I don't know. I just don't know how believable it is for the Don't Bothers to suddenly go from having Koob who can't move to having Koob who is the second coming of Patrick Waugh.
Yeah, Koob.0. He
Koob.0. Yeah. We do have to, I mean, he got him here after all the criticism that we gave Koob. Yeah. He's got him there in the I mean, Sophie got them here. Let's be honest. Sophie got them here, but Koob has gotten better since they taught him how to actually skate and play goalie.
Yeah. Koob played an integral role. He learned he's a much better goalie. I just wish they would have solved that issue earlier
sooner
and showed you more of him like actually learning, other than him like running off the ice,
and getting scored on 5-hole 4 times a game.
Yeah, they don't show you anything else of him like actually learning. So I wish they would have done a little bit more of that. But yeah, Koob, Sophie, Evan started playing like an actual hockey player once he realized his dad doesn't care about him.
Yeah. Nick stepped it up a little bit.
Like he's at least contributing. Logan's signature shot.
Yeah.
Things are looking up. We have a chance at States.
Yeah. And we can't sleep on Maya and Lauren, who have actually been a huge job of the double helix.
Yeah, they're the rocks on the blue line. They're your 2 defensemen. They're holding it down.
Absolutely. I think that
the key to a good hockey team is solid blue line play, Heath.
I didn't know that, but I do know that I'm very proud of Maya and Lauren for the jump that they've taken since the beginning of the show. They've probably had the most believable improvement arc out of all the players. You saw them put in the time and learn how to do these things.
Yeah. Them and Logan, when they finally taught Logan how to skate, that was good. That was necessary. His signature shot is still real weird, but whatever. So for episode 10 is going to be, and this is the last episode of the season, so it's going to be, we're going to get all the states, all in one episode.
Final countdown.
So
That's happening.
I imagine it'll be like last episode where it's like the first half of it's just like boom, boom, boom montage of games. Just
yeah, that's how all of these go. Game montage.
Exactly.
And is then, how it's going to kick it off because we're in states, we're in the tournament.
Yes. And then it's gonna end Ducks, against Don't Bothers. It has to.
Yeah,
right?
That's an easy, like this episode 10, there's not a lot to preview, honestly, because we know what's going to happen. The Ducks and the Don't Bothers, they're going to meet in the championship. That's good guys versus bad guys, the underdog versus the bastion of success, and they're going to meet head on. Who's going to win the more business-like approach or the more fun approach?
Exactly. And so like the little synopsis for next episode, it says, it all comes down to this: Minnesota State Championships. The Don't Bothers are playing the best hockey of their lives. Not a high bar to clear.
No.
But the Mighty Ducks aren't skipping a beat either. Both teams move on opposite sides of the bracket. How convenient. They seem to be on a collision course with each other. But when a key player goes down with injury, I am assuming it's going to be Sophie's knee, right?
That's the only injury that has been getting beat to death. Well, hasn't gotten beat to death. It's been subtle.
It hasn't been subtle. They beat it to death in like the first 3 episodes, and then they haven't talked about it since.
Yeah, that's right. Because she kept grabbing the knee, and then even on the pond skate, I think that there was just a little bit of soreness, right? Yeah. So like it's been there. So that description pretty much.
Well, it says
I don't even know what to say. Like that description. So. Well, they're each on other side of the bracket. They're going to meet each other. It sounds like Sophie's going to get hurt.
Goes down with an injury, and the Don't Bothers are forced to choose what matters more: winning on the ice or off of it.
Wow. Bum, bum, bum. They have to decide, do they learn the lesson or do they win?
That's a lot of pressure to put on Sophie, I feel.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure for any kid.
This poor girl is holding this team up on her tiny little shoulders.
Yeah, someone get her back. I mean, she has parent coffees. She has homework that requires straight A's constantly.
Yeah, she's trying to get into Harvard.
She is the
12 years old
backbone of the team. And you see they finally get some success because all of the clowns around her can finally give her the puck so that she can snipe out there. Wheel snipe Selly. Yeah. That's Sophie all day. Everyone else has just finally gotten good enough to give her the puck.
Yeah, she does. She needs one more, she needs
breakout game, like a big game.
No, she needs more. She needs one more, like, good hockey player. Because I don't think Evan's not. I don't think Evan's good at, other than the moment, or not the moment, the game when his dad showed up. He
annoying.
He hasn't shown me anything. So she needs like a, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I would like for somebody else to be not terrible at hockey.
Yeah, she needs a big 2 or a big 3, like with the Evan kind of maybe being the big 3, but they need someone else. Everyone else is just role players.
Evan's a solid Chris Bosh. Yeah. Sophie's LeBron. We need a Dwayne Wade. Wade.
There's no Dwayne Wade anywhere, and I feel like Maya and Lauren are like Udonis Haslem and Birdman. Chris Anderson.
I love Birdman. Yeah. Who do you think's Ray Allen? It's got to be Coob, right? I think Coob's a solid Ray.
Yeah, that makes it. Sam. No, Sam's too much of a wild card. I guess Sam would probably be Birdman.
Yeah, Sam is definitely Birdman. He's just missing the mohawk and the tattoos.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and then Udonis Haslam's Nick. I think that's got to be Nick.
I think so. Yeah, because he's the heart and soul of the team, the backbone.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, anyways, episode 9 was fun. It was solid. A little bit of an interesting Coach T Bombay, but we loved what we got with the middle school drama.
Yep.
As much Nick the Stick as we got, I think that's what provided so much sunshine in this episode, is we got all the Nick we could handle.
Yes. Yeah. I think, again, I love that it was more focused on the kids and the team. Again, you remove that weird little like Bombay subplot, and this is by far the best episode. It's it was a fun episode. Like everything that happened was kind of fun. It was cheeky. It was neat. Yeah. Like I would have loved you take the 5 to 10 minutes, whatever they focus on Bombay's fucking little thing. Take that out and put the first round game at the end of this, and then it's best episode for sure.
You actually start the states. You get the kickoff. Yeah,
and then maybe Sophie's knee's gonna maybe in the first you play the first game. At the end of the first game, maybe you like Sophie tweaks the knee a little bit, so then now she starts limping, and then that's your cliffhanger.
Yeah.
See, let us write the fucking show, Disney. Come on, sitting here making it look so easy.
They can take some notes.
I feel like this is gonna me talking about how much better I could write this show is gonna severely hamper our ability to ever interview any of the writers.
Oh, the writers of the show are gonna want nothing to do with you.
No.
I will save myself. I have been slightly critical, but I've been nice critical.
Yeah, I mean, I still love it. I still,
we've invested a lot of time in this show. It's great. We love the actors, but there's some plot lines that could have used a little bit more love, a little more TLC.
Yeah, just bring us into workshop the script. We'll throw us a little writing credit. We'll workshop the script. We'll tighten it up. It'll be by far the best series Disney has ever put out, guaranteed.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening, everyone. Please remember to follow and like us on Instagram at The Cake Eaters Pod, on Twitter at The Cake Eaters. Also reach out to us via email, thecakeeaterspod@gmail.com, or visit our website, thecakeeaterspod.com.